Hello and welcome to my retro watches. This is my review of the Ciga design Blue Planet Gilded Age. Now I hope you enjoyed that intro there. It showed it off to its full potential. Took me ages to produce that one and just trying to learn a few new things with the camera, but there we go. This watch, well, it's really easy to pass it off as some sort of novelty watch that's not worth considering. But when you actually get into the detail, which I am about to do, you're going to find it absolutely fascinating. It's very well made and it's very well executed. Now please bear with me as we go through this review, because this watch is not the easiest of things to film. Now normally I'd take a watch outside, get it in the daylight, get some nice angles, show it off to its full potential. But this, despite having some AR coating, it's got a very big dome sapphire crystal, and as a result it reflects absolutely everything. So I will be putting it on the microscope, I will be getting into some detail, but just bear with me with some of those shots. Ciga Design emailed me a few months ago, said, "We've made a new Blue Planet, would you like to review it?" I jumped to the chance and said yes, of course, because I'd really hoped that they'd done what we'd all asked for, was make a Northern Hemisphere version of the original Blue Planet. Alas, they haven't, at least not yet, but they've come back with this iteration, and this is really cool. It's 24 karat gold gilding on the dial there. It's a ceramic case and a ceramic bracelet. Now firstly, Ciga are showing us the world on our wrist, the passing of time and the correlation of the changing world and how fragile it is. But they're also talking about how precious gold is. It's as precious as time. But sadly, Ciga Design, I have to completely disagree with you. I went through hell last year. As you all know, I had cancer. I won that battle, and I'm telling you now that time is much more precious than gold. Time is actually the most precious thing we have completely. I think gold has been a good choice. Gold and black go well together, and the topography of the map of the world there is supposed to be to scale, and the gold really accentuates all the contours, shows all the shadows and everything. Works really well. I think it actually works better than the silver version, which I'll compare later in the video. Now then, it's all about the dial, and it's all about the engineering that went into that dial, and I love a bit of engineering, and I'm going to talk about that, show you some photos of how they've done it. I don't think any other reviewer has even cottoned on to how this is made and how incredible it is. So it takes 68 man hours roughly to make one dial. It's firstly micro carved on a CNC engraver, which is spinning at 20,000 RPM, and it takes around about 18 hours to do the first pass. After that, it's then coated with a thick black anti-corrosion layer, and then some special paint is applied in preparation for electroplating and acid pickling. After that's all done, it's then returned back to the CNC again as a finer tool put in place, and then it's on for another pass, or a final pass if you like, for 6 hours to complete, and then the gold, the 24 karat gold gild, is applied to that dial. The case is ceramic, so it's very hard, it's very scratch resistant, and to make that, it's obviously a powder to start with. It's put into a mould, and then it's fired at about 1500 degrees centigrade. They claim for 144 hours, and that's obviously to turn the powder into a solid mass. After that, it's back into the machining shop. You've seen photographs here of it on a grinding machine, and that's a diamond impregnated wheel I can see they're using there. That's my business. I'm into grinding and selling grinding wheels, so it's great to see that being used here. Obviously it's then finished to this high polished standard, which gives you this watch. Absolutely epic. I find it completely amazing. It's like a little piece of sculpture really. You're not wearing this really to tell the time, but I will now explain how to tell the time, because even that in itself is quite fascinating. Here I've set it up to read 12 o'clock, so you can see this is the hand if you like. So this is the pointer, and we're pointing at 12, and the minute track is on 00. So as the time passes, we'll wind it on to 12:30 for instance. and you're always going to be telling the minutes from the pointer. So you're looking at the pointer, obviously it's gone past 12 and it's now pointing at 30, so therefore it is 12:30. So it takes a bit of getting used to, especially for me when it gets around these numbers, around this side in the evenings especially. I find it a bit harder to read. But then you're wearing this just to purely tell the time. It is a bit of a statement piece and a bit of art, a bit of sculpture at the same time. What is fascinating though is to solve that problem. Let's just wind it on then to 1 o'clock. They've had to modify the movement. So the gear ratios have had to be played with in order for the minute track to actually go, if you like, 390 degrees per hour instead of 360. So just to make sense of that, if I then wind that the 00 back up to there, on a normal two-hander, obviously you'd have the hand pointing at 1 and hand pointing at 12, but here it has to move that extra 30 degrees to 1 in order to do that. So it's quite interesting that they've also meddled with the movement. In 2021, Ciga Design entered the Blue Planet in the challenge category at the GPHG Awards. Now these are like the watch Oscars. The GPHG stands for, excuse my French, Grand Prix de Horloger de Genève. I probably said that wrong, but they are very prestigious and they won that category and they've been very proud of that. Now Ciga Design are actually Chinese manufactured company, and it's the first time that a Chinese manufacturer has won such an award. And don't discredit them for that, because they have some steep competition from very well-known brands that we all know, love and respect. So well done to Ciga Design for catching their eye and putting this in and actually winning that award. So here's the ceramic bracelet, and it articulates absolutely wonderfly. It's really smooth. This material is obviously very smooth. It's extremely comfortable. There's no real, jingly jangliness about it. You get down to the clasp. We've got a deployant clasp. That is also 24 karat gold plated. And obviously once it's done up, you can't see it. This thing is a bit of a fingerprint magnet, which is one of my negatives, which we'll come on to. But yeah, wears really nicely on that ceramic bracelet. Also comes with a rubber strap as well. That rubber is sensational. It's really soft and smooth, but I've found on this one at least that the ceramic bracelet is a better fit. It's 22mm at the top here, and then it's tapering down to 20mm at the clasp, and it is a push pin, and it can only be a push pin, unfortunately, because with ceramic you would have very much difficulty in trying to tap any holes into that to actually put some threaded screws in there. So that is a bit of a downside. I have found actually adjusting this a little bit more challenging than normal, because I'm so aware how fragile ceramic can be, and you don't want to make a mishap and break a link. But that said, it comes with so many spare links. This thing could fit a 9, maybe even a 10-inch wrist. I've removed many links to get it down to my size. The movement in this watch is an ET8 2824 clone. However, it has been modified with the gear ratios. It's also got 30 joules, so it's been uprated as well. It's quite well decorated. You've got some perlage there, you've got some Cote de Genève through the display back. Because it's ceramic as well, it's just a press fit display back rather than a screw on one. So I'm not going to try and lever that off, because if I do, I might never get it back on. But I really like the look of the movement, and as for reliability, who knows. However, on inspection, look what I've found. It's a piece of debris, or even a piece of dried oil. I am not sure. It is on that jewel there. Look, a little flake. It's probably less than a millimetre in reality in size. But oh, how disappointing it is to see that there. And what am I going to do about it? I don't want to try and take the case back off in case I break it as well. But that could eventually find its way into parts that I don't want it to get to. So it could be a problem, might not be a problem. It certainly isn't a problem right now, in the sense that it won't be having an effect on the performance of the movement. So with that in mind, let's put it on time grapher. So here we go, set the lift angle at 50 degrees because that's where I think it should be. And look at that. Oh, straight off the bat, that is brilliant, isn't it? I mean, no beat error, and +2 seconds a day on rate, now +1. That's a watchmaker's dream. That's a really, really, really good trace. Let's put it in some other positions and see how better performing it is in those. So there's pendant down. We're looking for continuation of the straight line, of course, and it's going a little bit quicker, but it's still very, very good. There we go. So it's now, say, +5 seconds in that position. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased. I want to see it in all the other positions now just to make sure. So let's put it in crown up, or pendant up if you like. Now I've got great expectations. I want to see that line continue, and it is. Let's face it. Got no reason to doubt this movement. It's definitely been fine-tuned, and yeah, very impressive. I think we're going to see the rate probably not change looking at that so far. Just let the time grapher catch up with itself. No, I'd say it's staying at +7 seconds a day. Yeah, great. So last one really, dial down. I will now expect to see nothing more than a straight line because this is probably the least stressful place for the movement to be in, and there we go, case in point. So yes, 10 out of 10 for the movement regulation, not so 10 out of 10 for the cleanliness of the movement in assembly. The final thing to show you then, the wrist shot. So here it is on the ceramic bracelet. Outdoors, you can see the reflection of my phone camera there. It is big on the wrist. It looks bigger actually in the video than it does in reality. Can't get my wrist at the right angle for the camera, but it looks cool all the same. It's grown on me because, to start with, here it is, by the way, on the rubber strap. Yeah, I didn't like it at first, but now I've worn it and worn it more, I kind of like the watch a lot better. But then I always do, don't I? Let's face it, I like everything I try on. Okay, let's sum up this review. Now, I've left one big elephant in the room out of the review so far, and of course that is the price. This comes with a price tag. It is $1,800 US, which is around about 1,500 UK pounds, whereas the Planet Ocean in the blue dial version is around about $1,000 now, which is equating to just over 800 UK pounds. So a massive difference in price. Is it worth it? Well, I can't judge that one. I'm not into expensive watches in that sense. I think you've got to really, really want this to pay that price, but I'm sure there are people out there who will. It is a unique design. There's a few negatives, of course. It's big. It's 46mm in diameter. It is a bit of a hockey puck on the wrist, but it is a statement piece at the same time. So to me, the negatives are going to be the price, the size, equally that they've not made a Northern Hemisphere version. I really wish they had. I think that would sell very well across the world also. Nothing against the Southern Hemisphere, but I've never actually been there. So there we go. Fascinating to watch it spin around all the same. Of course, there's still some positives to this watch. It's a unique piece. If you're going to buy this and wear it, people are going to notice it and they're going to talk to you about it. As long as I don't ask you the time and you then have to explain how to tell the time, I think you'd be all right. But then again, some people like that. I've really enjoyed reviewing this watch. I do genuinely like it, despite seeing that bit of crap in the movement, which is still bugging me to this day. I mean, if you read the Ciga blurb on their website, they do say that they reject at least 40% of the dials. So I do wonder, perhaps because they send these out to so many reviewers, that perhaps as reviewers are getting maybe a second watch in quality, perhaps. I don't know, maybe there's some slight flaws. I'm not trying to defend it. I think it's inexcusable to see something in the movement like that, and I'm genuinely twitchy. I want to take that case back off. I want to get in there and just remove that, because if that gets further into the movement, I'm going to be forced to take it apart at some point. but I'm just at loggerheads trying to lever off that case back, and it being ceramic. I know what ceramic's like. It might be really hard and scratch resistant, but it's blooming fragile at the same time. It can crack really easy, and if I knacker up the case back, I'll be forever really annoyed with myself. So there we go, that's going to be the end of this review. I really do hope you've actually enjoyed it and I've explained well about how it's been made, because it is generally, to me at least, fascinating. So I'd love to see what you think. Leave all your comments below. I'll read as many as I can, try to reply to them all as well. Yeah, check out Ciga Design, there are links below, also so you can go and see all their other products. Be good if you go and have a look at that. Yeah, thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you're new to the channel, stick around for more. We are now going on a mission to just bring watch repairs and restorations to this channel. There may be the occasional review in the future for maybe some tools or maybe the occasional watch, but right now I've drawn a line under it, and hopefully nothing else is going to be on the channel other than dedicated watch repair videos. Thanks very much, see you soon, bye for now.